A sleek black Tesla sat parked on a quiet street in the Hollywood Hills. Neighbors walked past it every day. They thought it was just abandoned, maybe another car left behind by tourists or a renter. But weeks later, a terrible smell began to drift from the car. Someone finally called the police. When officers opened the trunk, they made a discovery that horrified the entire city. Inside was the decomposing body of a 15-year-old girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She had been reported missing 3 different times, yet for weeks she was only a few feet away, hidden in plain sight. The car was registered to a rising pop star, D4VD. Police say he has cooperated fully. He is not charged with any crime. But his name being linked to the vehicle has left the public with even more questions. How did Celeste end up in that trunk? Why did no one find her sooner? And why was that car allowed to sit for so long unnoticed? This story has shaken parents everywhere and stunned the music world. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the twists and revelations as we uncover the full truth behind this tragedy.
Detectives proceeding cautiously as they investigate the death of a missing California teenager whose body was found in a car belonging to popular singer-songwriter David. How 15-year-old Celeste Rivas died and whether a crime was committed remain crucial questions that sources tell ABC News could take weeks, even months, to answer.
It's an ongoing investigation. We have a lot of resources dedicated to bringing it to a conclusion.
Rivas had been missing for a year and a half. The LA County medical examiner unable to determine a cause of death so far, now waiting on lab tests to come back. Her badly decomposed remains wrapped in plastic discovered inside the trunk of this black Tesla that had been abandoned in the Hollywood Hills. The registered owner, David Anthony Burke, who goes by the stage name David. The medical examiner revealing Rivas had a tattoo reading "shh" on her index finger. David has the same one. It's a popular design among performers. Investigators were seen searching the residence he was renting last week and allegedly removing a computer. The 20-year-old musician has not been named as a suspect.
In order for there to be a prosecution, law enforcement has to find some key pieces of information when it comes to a potential homicide. First, they actually need to figure out if it's a homicide or not, and the autopsy report will help give them that. Then they have to figure out the who and the how in order to bring charges.
And while a source close to the investigation says all promotion for David's new album has been put on pause, Billboard reporting streaming of his music has doubled since news of his possible connection to Rivas' death emerged. Some fans now pointing out disturbing images seen in his music videos like One More Dance, which shows a bloody David and a body being placed in a trunk.
After watching you go.
Recently, mourners gathered at a vigil for the California teen, authorities returning her body to her family this week.
Now, sources telling us they have the evidence that they need from her body. And while they wait on those lab results, again, the promotion for David's new album has stopped and the U.S. portion of his tour.
Celeste Rivas Hernandez was just 13 the first time she vanished. It was February 2024. Her family in Lake Elsinore reported her missing. For days they searched, fearing the worst. Then she came back. No one ever fully explained where she had gone or why. But a pattern had begun. She disappeared again in May, and again later that same year. Friends and teachers told reporters that Celeste sometimes ran away. Law enforcement described her home life as troubled. What that meant was never made clear. Her mother and stepfather rarely spoke to the media. Police reports stayed vague. The mystery of what Celeste was running from only grew. By the spring of 2024, Celeste's life had shifted. She had started seeing someone older, much older, a rising star in the music world. His name, David Anthony Burke. Fans know him as D4VD. He was 21. Celeste was still legally a child. Celeste's family has said they knew about the relationship. Some friends claim she seemed happy. Others worried she was living a double life. She had obtained several convincing fake IDs. Old enough, they thought, to pass as a college student. People in the Los Angeles party scene reportedly assumed she was 18 or 19. Even neighbors near D4VD's rental home believed they were simply a young couple. But Celeste was not an adult. She was only 14. A girl trying to appear older than she was, and stepping into a world far more dangerous than anyone around her seemed willing to admit. On the morning of March 19, 2024, at exactly 7 a.m., a security camera mounted above a liquor store in Lake Elsinore recorded a familiar figure. The image is grainy, a teenage girl in white sweatpants and a black hoodie. She walks past the store, then she breaks into a slow jog. Her head is lowered. She doesn't look at the camera, she just keeps moving. That brief clip, barely 30 seconds long, would later become one of the last known videos of Celeste Rivas Hernandez alive. She had vanished before. But this time was different. Weeks would pass. No phone calls, no social media posts, no sign of her returning home. By the end of summer, Celeste was gone for good. By August 2024, while Celeste's family searched and pleaded for information, the man she had been linked to, rising music star David Anthony Burke, better known as D4VD, was on the road. His long-awaited Withered tour was in full swing. Boston, Montreal, Toronto, Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis, fans packed venues. Clips of his shows went viral online. While he was touring the country, his Tesla Model X sat parked on a quiet street in the Hollywood Hills, near the house he was renting for about $20,000 a month. Neighbors later said the car had been there a long time. Some claimed weeks. Others swore more than a month. It never moved. Its windows were darkly tinted. At first, people assumed it belonged to a visitor or a renter. Then, on August 26th, a neighbor finally reported it to parking authorities as possibly abandoned. A day later, on August 27th, a parking enforcement officer chalked the position of the tires, the standard way to see if a car is being left in place too long. The chalk marks didn't move. On September 3rd, the Tesla was ticketed for violating the city's 72-hour parking law. 2 days later, on September 5th, it was towed to an impound lot in Hollywood. For 3 days, the car sat in the fenced-in tow yard. It looked like just another vehicle waiting for someone to pay the fees and collect it. But on September 8th, a tow yard employee noticed something disturbing. A foul, unmistakable odor coming from the Tesla. Anyone who has smelled that odor before knows it instantly. The worker called the police. Detectives arrived. They obtained a search warrant. They opened the rear hatch of the SUV. Inside, they found a large black duffel bag. When they unzipped it, they made a discovery that would shock the city, the music industry, and the internet. Inside the bag were the remains of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She had turned 15 years old the day before. News of the discovery spread rapidly. A girl who had been missing for months, found in the trunk of a pop star's car, while that star was performing hundreds of miles away. For many, it felt like the plot of a crime thriller. But it was real. On September 17th, police executed a search warrant at the Hollywood Hills rental home where D4VD had been living. Neighbors watched as investigators carried out boxes of electronics and computer equipment. Despite the intense speculation online, no criminal charges were filed. The artist's representatives said he had been cooperating fully with detectives. D4VD cancelled the remaining dates of his Withered tour. He vacated the rental property. Movers were seen packing his belongings, while 2 masked private security guards stood watch at the gates. The discovery raised more questions than it answered. How had Celeste, reported missing 3 separate times in the past year, ended up in that car? Why had the Tesla been allowed to sit on a public street for so long without being inspected? Could she have been saved if authorities had acted sooner? And what had really happened between the teenage girl and the 21-year-old artist whose car became the center of the investigation? Each new detail only deepened the mystery. And for Celeste's family, the grief was immeasurable. A promising life cut short, just as she was crossing the threshold from childhood to adolescence. This tragedy continues to haunt parents and fans alike. It is a story of missed warnings, unanswered questions, and a chain of decisions that ended with a young girl's life lost and a celebrity's career thrust into turmoil. Why was Celeste Rivas Hernandez in that car? When did she actually die? Did she lose her life somewhere else and get moved there later? Was it, as some have whispered online, a tragic overdose? Or something even darker? The truth is, we still don't know. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner has not yet released an official cause of death. Until the autopsy and toxicology results are final, everything else is speculation. One of the most widely circulated theories came from private investigator Steve Fisher. Fisher has said publicly that a family contact claimed Celeste was alive as recently as July 2024. Based on that claim, he floated a possibility, not a proven fact, that Celeste may have suffered an accidental overdose and that someone panicked and hid her body in the Tesla. Police have not confirmed this. No evidence for this scenario has been released. Other theories, mostly spread on social media, have been even more sensational. One viral post claimed that Celeste had been pregnant. Another went further, suggesting that infant remains were discovered near the pop star's home. Authorities have flatly denied both claims. There is no credible evidence to support them. Here is what is verified. Celeste was reported missing 3 separate times in 2024. She was returned home after at least one of those earlier disappearances. Her family has publicly said that she was in a relationship with the 21-year-old artist David Anthony Burke, known to the world as D4VD. Friends in Los Angeles say they believed she was an adult. A neighbor of D4VD's Hollywood Hills rental home told reporters they often saw Celeste there. The picture that emerges is of a young teen navigating an adult world, and of adults around her not realizing, or perhaps not wanting to see, how young she truly was. There were also strange early clues that now feel chilling in hindsight. Back in February 2024, soon after Celeste's first disappearance, a man left a public comment on her mother's Facebook page. He asked why the mother was ignoring his texts. He claimed Celeste had been found with a group of girls who were trafficked in Mexico. That alarming comment was never substantiated. There was no evidence linking Celeste to human trafficking. But the post left a disturbing question hanging in the air. Was that man simply an online troll seeking attention, or did he know something more than he ever revealed? Even the timeline itself is unsettling. The last known video of Celeste alive comes from a liquor store security camera in Lake Elsinore on March 19, 2024, at around 7 a.m. She is seen in white sweatpants and a black hoodie, first walking, then jogging, head down, moving quickly. She never looks up at the camera. It's a fleeting glimpse, but in hindsight, it carries a heavy weight. After that morning, Celeste effectively disappeared from public view. Yet later, neighbors in the Hollywood Hills told investigators that they believed they saw her in the area during the summer, sightings that, if accurate, would have been weeks after she was officially reported missing. Meanwhile, that Tesla Model X linked to the pop star sat parked on a residential street, unmoving, gathering dust. Neighbors say they passed it every day. Some assumed it was just a car left by a visitor or a tourist. Others noticed it had been there for an unusually long time. On August 26th, a neighbor finally reported it as abandoned. On August 27th, a parking enforcement officer marked the tires with chalk. The marks didn't move. On September 3rd, the car was ticketed for violating the city's 72-hour parking ordinance. On September 5th, it was towed to an impound lot in Hollywood. And there it sat. For 3 days, no one had any reason to suspect what was hidden inside. On September 8th, a tow yard worker noticed a foul odor. Anyone who has encountered that smell before recognizes it instantly. The worker called the police. Detectives arrived. They obtained a search warrant. They opened the Tesla's rear hatch. Inside, they found a large black duffel bag. And inside that bag were the remains of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She had turned 15 years old just the day before. The discovery sent a shockwave through Los Angeles, and then far beyond. A teenager missing for months, found in the trunk of a car registered to a chart-topping singer, while that singer was hundreds of miles away on tour. The story dominated headlines. It went viral on every major platform. Fans of D4VD scoured his old live streams and lyrics for supposed hints. Some even pointed to one of his songs that mentioned the name Celeste, sending it surging up streaming charts again, for all the wrong reasons.
The singer, who was on tour, has now canceled all of his shows, but has not commented on the investigation. As he remains silent, his fans are loud online, critiquing his lyrics and music videos that feature gory imagery and themes. One of his most popular songs, titled Romantic Homicide. And take a look at this video for One More Dance.
The heavier the snow.
What appears to be a blindfolded David in a bloodied shirt, standing by as two people put a body into the trunk of a car. And this anime video for David's song Rehab, depicting a girl's arm being cut off.
Sponsors paused deals. Promoters cancelled shows. The young artist, who had been playing sold-out arenas just days earlier, went silent. On September 17th, detectives carried out a search warrant at the Hollywood Hills rental home where D4VD had been living. Neighbors watched as investigators removed computers, hard drives, and other electronic devices. The singer himself was not present. His representatives said he was cooperating fully with law enforcement. No one has been charged with any crime in connection to Celeste's death. In the days that followed, D4VD cancelled the rest of his withered tour. He moved out of the Hollywood Hills house. Movers packed his belongings under the watch of two masked security guards posted at the gate. The optics were devastating. Images of the Tesla being towed, clips of the liquor store surveillance video. Pictures of Celeste smiling in earlier photos, suddenly, heartbreakingly, everywhere. On September 24th, Celeste's body was finally released to her family. A memorial service was scheduled for October 4th. She never reached her 15th birthday. This case has ignited a far-reaching debate that extends well beyond Hollywood. How should police respond when minors repeatedly go missing? How can families protect vulnerable teens in the era of social media, online grooming, and convincing fake IDs? What responsibility do adults have to verify the true ages of the young people they meet in nightlife and entertainment scenes? And why do so many warning signs go unnoticed until it's far too late? For Celeste's loved ones, those questions are no longer theoretical. They are the painful reality behind an unfathomable loss. As of now, no one has been charged in connection with Celeste's death. The investigation remains open. Detectives say they are waiting for the final autopsy and toxicology reports, which may still take months. Until then, we are left with only fragments. A runaway teen, a chart-topping artist whose vehicle became the focus of a homicide investigation, a Tesla sitting unmoved on a quiet street, and the irreplaceable loss of a young girl whose life ended before it truly began. This tragedy is more than just a headline. It is a reminder of how fragile the line can be between ordinary life and irreversible disaster, and how critical it is to notice the warning signs before it's too late. Celeste's story is not over. Her family is still pleading for answers. Detectives are still combing through evidence, waiting for final autopsy and toxicology results. And the world, from her hometown to the music industry, keeps speculating, arguing over what really happened. Some people see this as a story about fame, power, and responsibility. Others see it as a painful example of a system that failed to protect a vulnerable child. In the middle of it all stands that silent Tesla, parked for weeks on a Hollywood Hills street, holding a secret no one expected. What happened in the days between Celeste's last sighting and the discovery of her body? Who, if anyone, failed her when she needed help most? And why were so many warning signs missed until it was too late?
How long ago was this?
We all just found out yesterday who it was, but she's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of told people this story. She disappeared again in May of that year, May of 2024. That's when her friends told me what happened, that it was this rapper.
Until the truth is known, every rumor is only an echo in the dark. But one fact can't be debated. A 15-year-old girl deserved to be found, to be saved, long before the tow truck ever arrived.
Spotted at the home that had been rented by the multi-platinum singer David more than 2 weeks ago. The body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in the trunk of a Tesla registered to David. The moving crew spent about 2 hours hauling away boxes and a red Tesla registered to David's manager. Investigators have not publicly linked David to the teen's death. Celeste's family says she had a boyfriend named David and several social media pictures linking them. The teen's body has been released to her family. Her memorial planned for October 4th. The medical examiner's office has not released a cause of death.
If you want to follow every new detail as this investigation unfolds, like this video, subscribe to Unraveled Crime, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice helps keep Celeste's story alive.